Recently, Zahi Hawass told his version of the very ancient story called Khufu and the Magician, which is from the Westcar Papyrus. So I'm going to tell you my version, and this story involves Khufu, the magician, and the reasons why Usakaf, at one stage, his pyramid held the secrets of Thoth. So, in the grand court of the pharaoh Khufu, at a time when the tomb of Khufu was being planned, there were whispers of a powerful magician, and they reached the ear of the king. A man named Dedi, who was 110 years old and skilled in the mystical arts, with significant knowledge of the god of Thoth. So, oh, yes, and by the way, he does actually eat a lot of food too. Anyway, the most important thing is that he knows the design of the chambers of Thoth and could help design the tomb if he were willing. Or so the pharaoh Khufu thinks. So Khufu had been searching already for the sanctuary of Thoth, but it was to no avail, and so he decided that it would be necessary for them to find and bring this man to him, to the court. So Khufu's son journeyed to find the magician, Dedi, and the man, when they found him, requested a boat to transport all his books and all his family with him to the court. This is telling us that books were a big thing at the time of Khufu, especially for magicians. Anyway, once he arrived at the court, he's welcomed by the pharaoh. And the pharaoh then proceeded to test the skills of the magician. Now, I won't go into what he did because that was in the story that Zahi Hawass told, and so I won't tell it any different. But once the pharaoh was convinced, then he wanted to know more, and he wanted to discuss the secrets of Thoth with the magician and hopefully get the location of the sanctuary. So what he truly, truly desired was knowledge, the secrets of the temple of Thoth, where ancient wisdom was hidden, so that he could include this knowledge in his tomb, both in terms of design and to include the knowledge within the tomb for his afterlife. But it was not to be, well, not for King Khufu anyway. Dedi admitted that he did not hold the secrets of the Temple of Thoth, but he knew the location of it, i.e. the secrets, not the temple. And the king said that that's what he wanted. He wanted those secrets. But the magician said, I cannot give this to you. So here's a translated quote of this particular part of the Westcar Papyrus. There is a box made of flint in a room called the Inventory of Heliopolis, and the knowledge you seek is in that box. And His Majesty said, well, go and bring it to me. Dedi said, it is not I who shall bring it to you. And His Majesty said, well, who will bring it to me? And Dedi said, well, the eldest of 3 kings will get it, who are in the womb of Redjet. They will find it. So that's pretty much the quote. And well, it seems to me that he was saying that the future of Egypt lies in the bloodline of Ra, which in a different part of it, it says how they are the offspring of Ra. And that these 3 sons of Ra will become kings, and each one is born to a human priest's wife. So essentially they all have the same mother. And it is they that will gain the knowledge of Thoth, and that is where the story of Usakaf comes delicately into this one. Because Usakaf is the pharaoh who gets the secrets of Thoth, followed by his brother and fellow pharaoh, Sahur, and also, after that, Nefer-Kara Kakai. And the dates of these three are such that it is possible that they were in fact brothers. But there are no records to support or deny it, well, that I can find anyway. But as a consolation prize, the magician tells Khufu that his son and grandson would rule after him. Now, I don't know why Khufu wanted this so badly for his tomb, but it certainly looks like he didn't get it according to this story. So when he speaks of the tomb, the Egyptologists say that he's talking about the pyramid. But in my opinion, no, it refers to the tomb, the horizon of Khufu as a tomb. But of course, archaeologists insist that this can only be the Great Pyramid. So if he didn't get the magic of Thoth, and he did build the Great Pyramid, which in my opinion he didn't, then how did he achieve everything that he is thought to have achieved? Oh, and by the way, he wasn't a particularly well-loved pharaoh. But the three future kings, the prophecy says, will be pious rulers, much loved in contrast to the rather unpleasant pharaoh Khufu. According to the archaeologists, Khufu's reign ended about 70 years before the start of Usakaf's reign. So it's hard to imagine that Usakaf was already in the womb when Khafre was talking to the magician. So I'm assuming that the magician was speaking of a future time. And the new reign of Usakaf was also the start of the next dynasty, and this was unrelated to Khufu. By that I mean they were not part of Khufu's direct family, and hence a new dynasty was started. The tale of Khufu and the magician is one of those that just echoes through time, where magic, prophecy, and the fate of these rulers are intertwined. But how much of it is true? This is an interesting story to me because there is another story of searching for the Book of Thoth that links quite nicely in with this one. But, my friends, that is for another day. So let me know what you think of my version of the story versus the version of the story told by Zahi Hawass. And I'd also like to know your thoughts on this box, this flint box that contains all the wisdom of Thoth. Do you think it's the sort of box that one could open, like in the Serapeum? Tell me in the comments.